Naomi is not here to play by any outdated rules. Naomi is a model, artist, an activist, an unapologetic voice in the body inclusivity and self love space. But more than that, she's someone who has been actively pushing back against the systems that they don't just try, they succeed at censoring and shrinking marginalized bodies and voices. Things really sparked for her when she challenged social media censorship around Black, fat, plus size bodies. She really ignited this whole movement that forced Instagram to adjust their policies. I'm telling you, like a baddie. But her work goes beyond that one moment. Naomi's whole vibe is about taking up space and reclaiming narratives and reminding people that self acceptance is radical self love. So today we're getting into body love, self acceptance, how that merges, and blends with spirituality and what it actually looks like to challenge the standards, challenge the programming, the conditioning that we've been conditioned to follow. She truly is a force. I'm very excited to share this conversation. So here's my chat on Connected in the Den with Nyome Nicholas-Williams. Connected in the Den, your cozy corner for truth, the mystical, the paranormal, the witchy, spiritual conversations, and grounded guidance for our well-being. No fluff, no new age BS, just soul talk, ancient knowing, a little cosmic weirdness, a chill, conscious space to come home to yourself. So get comfy, let's vibe out. You're connected in the den now, baby. Okay, I'm sitting with model, influencer, writer, activist, baddie with a passion, I feel like,
Oh,
for promoting diversity and challenging beauty standards. Really like this voice for inclusivity, I feel like, and self love, body empowerment. Nyome Nicholas-Williams, thank you for sitting with me. How are we doing today?
oh, thank you. And that was a great intro. I'm well, thank you. I'm really, really, and thank you for asking me to be on here. I really do appreciate it.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I'm like I said, I actually came into contact with you during COVID. Um, during which I want to get into the movement, basically the movement I like to say, because it's right when I was kind of dabbling in some influencing, modeling, I guess you could say, for some fantastic brands. And I came across you. I was looking to get inspired, because it's challenging
Yeah,
for Black women in modeling, period, but let alone as a fat plus size model.
yeah.
And so coming across your content was incredibly inspiring, and not only just for the modeling aspect of things, but also in terms of spirituality, because I was at this place of developing and, you know, psychic mediumship abilities. And
Mhm.
part of uh which we'll get into, but part of like your intuition, your psychic skill, like a lot of that has to do with coming into harmony with your body,
Mhm.
and your body's the channel, the vessel. And we live
Mhm.
in a shitty society that's conditioned us to like hate
Yeah,
our bodies or feel like we always have to fix them. So I'm just
yeah.
curious if you have always been in this place of self-love with your body, or was there a place where you like something clicked and you just became fiercely unapologetic about how you show up in the world?
I absolutely was not like always,
Okay.
I have not always been like this. I had disordered eating from age 16 to 21. So um I didn't used to eat, and I was a UK, I think, size 12 or 14. I'm
Okay.
not sure what that size is in the US. And at that point I felt like I I had such a distortion, body dysmorphia of how my body looked. And I was so concerned with being slim, and obviously me being a tall woman, like I
Mm,
equated my tallness to my broadness. I've always been like a broad woman, and so I struggled with that for so many years. And I remember I entered a competition. It was a modeling competition, and it was for plus size women. And at that point, I was smaller than I am now. And I still was like, you know what, there's still not enough space here for
Mm-hmm.
plus size, especially black women. And
Mm-hmm.
that spurred me on to be like, you know what, there's space here for me. There's space here for black women like me who have bodies like mine. And who have just bodies because our bodies exist, so therefore they're worthy. And I was like, do you know what? I want to start something. And it wasn't even me starting anything. I've always been very mouthy and I'm always going to say what I feel, as long as I'm not, being mean to anyone, I'm not
Right.
imparting on anyone's will. I'm just speaking about my opinion. I don't ever want to offend, but I'm also not going to censor myself. So
Mm-hmm.
with that being said, I was like, there's space here. And I
Yeah.
was like, cool, I'm going to call it out. And it just kind of took on a life of its own after that.
Amazing. Amazing. Yeah, and it's funny too because I've been multiple sizes myself. Like I
Yeah.
was tiny, tiny, like size two for a long period of time. I was scouted to model at that size, but even at that time, I wasn't thin enough. And I remember going to this casting with these agents from France, and they were like, they were just, and this, mind you, this was like early 2000s, right?
Right.
So it was even worse, I feel like
Yeah.
then. And
Mm.
I just remember them like pulling out these lookbooks and being like, this is what you have to look like. And they were like really, really tiny, tiny, and making it a point to be like, we have such and such amount of black models with our agency. And do you know what I mean? Like it was
Yeah.
just so I feel like in the moment maybe we don't realize like how important voices like yours are to the industry, and I feel like we do a lot of work as black women trying to
Mm.
constantly fucking advocating like in
Yeah.
so many different pockets of
Yeah.
existence, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So yeah, I don't know if you take the time to really like sit and be like, I don't know, just like celebrate, you know, what you've done. And I'm sure from your perspective, from your standpoint, you're still like, there's still so much fucking work to be done.
That's so funny you say that because I've literally taken a step back. I was like, I've done enough. I was at a point where I'm like, I've done enough now. As in, it just feels like sometimes you're up against a uphill battle, and I'm never a quitter. I'm very persistent.
Yeah.
But also, with the stuff coming in of people like heroin chic and that whole era.
Yes. The
So
year of
it's so
Ozempic. Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it's like how do how do bodies that exist outside of what is deemed as like Western and like perfect or whatever, how are we then meant to like just thrive and just be? And
Hmm.
I got to a point where I was like, I'm tired. I'm tired of
Hmm.
advocating. And that's the thing, I fell into activism because I say fell into it because again, it was just me speaking to the camera. It was just me
Yeah.
being myself. It's
Yeah.
just me having like I've always been this way. I'm always gonna be like, why? Like I'm
Yeah.
always gonna try and challenge things that don't make sense. And a lot of people will not because they're afraid. Like I've lost
Hmm.
so many jobs from asking questions about why there aren't more black women, why there aren't disabled women, why there aren't trans women, why there aren't plus size women. Like
Hmm.
I've just by speaking out, I've lost that kind of jobs, but they weren't for me. So
Hmm.
I'm in a space now of just like being, and especially with body
Yeah.
positivity, and like it's been taken away from black women and black
Yeah.
bodies. So I'm like, I cannot advocate for that movement anymore.
Hmm.
So now I'm like more moving into like body acceptance, body
Hmm.
neutrality, body love. Like how do we
Hmm.
celebrate ourselves in the vessels that we have now, as they are? That's the stance I'm on. It's less more about let me try and fight for this change, fight for this difference. Because yes, I wanted to do it and it needed it at that time. But
Yes.
also I don't want to be defined by just doing that because when everyone else is going the opposite way and everyone else
Yeah.
is like, yeah, let's push body positivity to the side now. So it's like me and who's on me? Like me and
Right.
like it's like
Yeah.
a handful of people still advocating for
Hmm.
different body sizes for bigger bodies. So it's just like it's a lot. It feels like a lot sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. And you touched on a few things I want to like try to like I'm trying to like peg all these things we're talking about.
Yeah.
The body positivity movement and how that was stolen.
Yes,
like
it was.
like so many things
Mhm.
stolen from marginalized, I should say, marginalized communities.
Marginalized communities, yes.
So how especially you really being in it, like I was like a part-time model, you know what I mean? How did you start to see that shift? Like did you feel you were being attacked in any way? Did you feel like how did you
That's a good question. I don't think it was about being attacked. It was just more from what I observed that
Right.
there's like a certain it's like a hierarchy of body types, I like to call
Mm-hmm.
it.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a certain type of like figure that you need to have to what brands like. And you have it went from like plus size to mid size. So then they were calling it like mid size is plus size and vice versa. And it was getting the wires were getting crossed. So then you're
Yeah.
inadvertently pushing out people with bigger bodies, even though that was what it was made for, marginalized bodies, marginalized communities. So I think it was just more observation for me. So
Mm-hmm.
for instance, I have always been a bigger woman. I have an hourglass figure. You can't see it as much because I'm bigger. Um, but I'm still not the right hourglass. I still don't fit into that. Like I'm still not the size that they need. So it's
Yeah.
like it's between like a couple of sizes. And if you're outside of that, then you're just not quite what we need. So
Mm-hmm.
it's more observation. To answer your question, I've observed it more. That's
Okay.
how I've seen the change basically. And
Mm-hmm.
people getting less jobs, brands paying less for like content creators, models. So it's been a bit of that, I'd say.
Yeah, well, and I feel like we saw like a quite a bit of like, I don't know, performative support from a lot of brands because I feel like
So
I was
much.
on the up and up in 2020
Oh
and
my
I was
gosh,
like, this
20.
is amazing, finally,
Yeah,
like, you know,
I've been seen.
and
Yep.
then it like kind of plateaued for a little bit and then I feel like the crash has been more recent. Like I feel like it's maybe been I feel like I started to feel it 2024. So, yeah, like a couple years now,
No, you're correct. It's been I was one that's funny. I was gonna say the last 2 years, it's
right?
gotten really bad. Like
Yeah.
truly. Like
Yes.
I'd say from around 2020 to 2023,
Mhm.
oh my gosh, the level of brands wanting to work with me, my agents, it was like, wow, this is amazing. And it's weird when you're in it, you don't see it as performative because you think, do you know what? We're finally being
We're being
seen.
supported. Yes.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
why would I think anything other? Because I'm a genuine person. Why would I think other people aren't being genuine? But that's not how the
Yes.
world works. Not everyone
No.
is. And
Yeah.
again, that's a lesson learned because
Hmm.
now we're where we are because
Hmm.
of that.
Hmm.
Because we were like, oh yeah, everyone is people are being inclusive and they're really showing diversity and all that stuff. But it was all buzzwords basically, and we can see that.
Yeah. Well, and people don't realize too, like how much politics really is everything, because a lot of this does have to do with the
Yep.
way politics is shaping the narrative and shaping the way
Yep.
we look to media and right now I'm sure I know I follow a lot of the UK politics and stuff as well. And I know it's quite similar to the US. Canada's looped in there as well. Like I'm in Canada.
Yeah.
And it's this, just don't even get me started on like this, like conservative, just,
It's a lot.
yeah,
It's overwhelming. It can be
yeah,
overwhelming when you think if you think about it for too long without trying to like is it bury your head in the sand and not, but also it literally is everywhere and in everything. So you're like, where
yeah,
do we go?
yeah.
You know?
So you have then seen like a shift for like bookings and jobs, would you say?
As in, oh, I've seen a shift with me. I've not been booked for anything.
Yeah. See, like
Like,
that's insane.
nah. It's
That's
been like
insane.
small brands, and like smaller brands with small money, but they seem to have like a better like time of paying, so they pay really like quickly, which is really efficiently, and they're always amazing to work with.
Mhm.
But in terms of like big deals, oh
Yeah.
no, I'd say the last like 2 years,
That's
nah,
terrible. Because I do
yeah,
notice the small brands. Like Night Dive was the swim brand that I worked with. Manners London is another. I've ordered
I
some
love
dresses.
manners. I know
Right? I
Sally, yeah, yeah,
just
yeah,
just like and it's I look at these brands and I'm like, they have so much heart, they have so much
hmm
compassion, they have this
yeah,
drive to change things, but they're just as us, kind of suppressed and boxed in.
yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about the Instagram policy that you had changed because I'm curious if you feel that that's still working or do you feel like there's been um if it was also performative in some way because you for those who don't know this was kind of what really like linked me up to you during COVID times too because I remember like sharing your stuff in my stories and like the picture that kept getting removed. So do you want to
hmm
share just a little bit about that experience?
Yeah, sure. So I did a photo shoot with Alex Cameron, who's an amazing photographer, very natural photographer, and we got some amazing shots. And at that point I was like, yeah, I'm really comfortable with how I look and I'm loving my body. And it was like all like Mother Earth lavender. It was really tranquil. The picture was lovely. I was in cycling shorts just to,
Yeah.
set the scene. I was sat on a stool with some lavender and my the lavender was covering my breast. I was sat to the side. And as soon as I put the image up, it got flagged and it got removed. On my profile, I told Alex, and Alex was like, let me post it and see if it works.
Hmm.
She posted it, it also got flagged on her, so it wasn't just on my profile. So we enlisted the help of Gina Martin, who is an amazing campaigner. She made the upskirting law illegal over here
Okay.
in Parliament, and now you can get fined and put in prison for it. But we started a hashtag which was I want to see Naomi, and it basically shifted and it got to everywhere. And it was, why is it that my body is censored when there are like slim white women on that same platform who are literally naked,
Hmm.
literally, and
Hmm.
their images remain? And obviously, it opened up a whole thing of like racism. Like, there's so many different layers of it, sizism.
Yes.
Like, there's so many different layers, and we eventually got to Meta, and the CEO contacted me directly, and we got to have a meeting with him. And I think over like 3 months, we managed to change the policy on how plus size or how bodies nudity is viewed on the platform, basically. And
Hmm.
it would not be flagged because it's based in the internal system. So we knew it wasn't just like a one-off thing, it's embedded in the system.
Hmm.
And
Like
that's
coding,
what,
essentially.
yeah, that's like it's in the coding, it's like in the etching of what they've made base their platform on. So it's
Yeah.
what people want to see. It's what the higher ups that are in these businesses want to see,
Are
you know?
controlling. Well, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you fall outside of that, then they're like, ugh. And that's exactly
Hmm.
how it was and how it felt.
Hmm.
Um, and we changed the policy. And to answer your question, I don't think it did anything.
Yeah.
I think maybe the year and a half afterwards, but I think
Hmm.
it was again, let's make this girl be quiet because she's doing
Right.
too much. It's gotten
Yeah.
too far. She's reached too many people. She's got too much support. She's getting too powerful. It's like you've got
Hmm.
to let's bring you down a peg. Do you know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Hmm.
Because we're never gonna treat black and marginalized bodies the way we do with everyone else. So let's make you think we are for a little bit. And I'm
Hmm.
not gonna sit here and lie. I lapped it up because I was like, this is amazing. I was like, I'm making change for myself and for my community and for
Yes.
marginalized people.
Yes.
But as I've grown and I've healed and I've become wiser, I'm like, that wasn't it. They were
Hmm.
just playing in my face essentially. Like, yeah, let me just give you this so you can be quiet. I genuinely, because I'm still shadow
Hmm.
banned.
Hmm.
None of the people that follow me see my pictures to this day.
Hmm.
Like, it doesn't make sense. The engagement isn't, the math isn't mathing. I've got
Yeah.
over 100,000 followers. I have less views than when I had 50,000 followers.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I want to say it did something for the year and a half afterwards, but on
Hmm.
a long-term basis, I would say no,
Yeah.
absolutely not. And that's unfortunate, but that's the truth.
It really is. It really is.
Yeah,
And I feel like people, I mean, there are a lot of distractions, I guess, too, going on throughout the world that are pulling people's focus on topics and issues like this as
yeah,
well, which I think is really unfortunate. And we are just kind of getting swept up into this like Ozempic. Um,
yeah,
it feels like a crisis, like,
yeah,
and don't get me wrong, do what you need to do that whatever you makes you feel healthy. But when you look at some of the celebrities right now that are being profiled where they look sick, like,
yeah.
and we're just being pushed like, oh, this is beautiful and this will make you successful. And yeah, it's frustrating, but I will say it is really nice to come across profiles like yours. Like, I
Thank
do
you.
feel like they are, I don't see as much. I have to actively go and like tell the algorithm, like show me more of
Yeah.
this because there
Mm,
are some really fantastic influencers, models, activists. But yeah, constantly and same. I'm going through the same thing. Mine's a little bit more like politically, I feel like targeted for what I
right.
speak on.
Mm,
But anything that's like anti-capitalist, anti-imperialist,
oh,
anti-colonial, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
of course.
Gets flagged. So I'm curious though how that movement, how did that I guess affect or shift your life on personal levels?
I don't think it shifted my life on a personal level at all, to be honest.
Okay.
I believe that it helped me to grow and it helped me to
Hmm.
like look at myself
Hmm.
and sit with who I am and what I
Hmm.
want to do and the reasons why I'm doing it. I had to sit with myself on that level
Yeah.
when it came to like, I knew I was doing it for me, but and for other people, but I also felt like back when my self-esteem wasn't where it needed to be, I felt like I was doing it to be seen by others, and I had to really
Mm-hmm.
sit with myself and be like, why are you doing this? You're doing it for the right reasons, but are you? Because
Mm-hmm.
you still sometimes feel like you're not good enough, and it all comes down to how I viewed myself. So
Mm-hmm.
that changed on a personal level with my inner growth and
Okay.
what it actually meant to me. That
Mm-hmm.
for
Mm-hmm.
sure.
Yeah, and like you've spoken a lot about how like self-love is a journey, you know? So how does that look like for you on the day to day? You know, like how are you loving on yourself and
Oh my gosh, somatic meditations have literally saved my life. As
yeah.
someone with like ADHD, I have to slow down, and
Mm-hmm.
I used to be super like anxiously attached, just in all generalized anxiety in all of like life. So I
Mm-hmm.
it's slowed me down. So I'm very intentional. I will actually move slower when doing like everything, so I'm not
Mm-hmm.
rushing.
Yeah.
Um, not being on my phone as soon as I wake up. That is important for me. Like it's the little things that I've implemented that I never would have thought have made the bigger difference for me.
Yep.
Like my affirmation cards every morning, drinking a peppermint tea, being intentional about how the tea tastes. Like I'm just more aware, acutely aware of where I put my energy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Definitely somatic though, because that's like chilled me out to the level I'm just like, wow, this is amazing.
A hundred
Um,
percent. 100%.
I put
percent.
it a lot down. Yeah, I put a lot down to that. Those things, other things, of course, but also just self-reflection.
Mm-hmm.
Being self-aware, but also reflecting on the personal things that I don't know, chosen to do in my life, where
Mm-hmm.
I currently am, where I want to go next. So that sort of thing. That helps me.
And do you feel like you felt like a shift in, because I touched on earlier, like coming into this like coherence or this harmony with your body, this like self-acceptance and understanding of of your body being a vessel. Like I always say,
Mm,
your body is the altar, right? Like
yeah.
we have all these tools that help us spiritually, but your
Mm,
ultimately, those aren't the source of your power. The source of your power is your body and the way your soul expresses itself through this vessel. So,
mm.
did you notice a type of shift come in with like your intuition or like your connection to spirit, or the more you came into that harmony with your body?
I would say, oh, yes and no.
Hmm.
Yes, it came a bit later, as
Okay.
in coming into like harmony with my body and accepting my body and my spirituality being one.
Okay.
I'm there now, but I feel like my spirituality side had to catch up to that
Okay.
basically. So they go hand in hand for sure.
Mm,
So if I'm not feeling like myself, it all comes down to like, why aren't you? I ask why a lot. And it's
okay.
like, I've also learned where I can feel where I saw tension in my body, and I would have been able to do that before because it's like I'm so accepting of where I am now, what my body does for me, that I can tell if I'm anxious. I can tell, oh, something doesn't feel right, and I know where it is in my body. Before I convinced myself that I was connected to my body because I was like, yeah, I'm putting myself out there for other people, but I was disconnected from myself. So now I've learned that,
Mm,
oh, okay, when I do this somatic meditation or any meditation, I know if I feel something, I know if I feel anything, I can feel it in my chest. I can feel it in my belly. My third eye, like this, if I'm meditating, it literally like, and people
tingles.
say,
Yeah.
we're all like hippie and whatnot, but I can feel it. Like
Yes.
it's like, and I can't explain it. So
Yeah.
it's like I had to become aligned and literally listen because it took
Hmm.
so much for me to actually be like, people say you've got to listen to your body. I was like, what do you even mean?
Yes.
And it's like once you
Yes.
get there,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, this is what all the talk is about. This is
Okay, so then
what that means.
what switched for you? Like what suddenly what when, I guess, did you start to be like, "Oh, this is what listening to your body means?" Like what do you remember like a
I'm gonna say yes because it only happened in January this year, and
"Oh,
I'm gonna
get
be
out
very
of
honest.
here."
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So it's very new to me. But
Okay.
prior to that, I wasn't being honest with myself, and I was like, yeah,
Mhm.
I'm so in touch with. I've always been spiritual. I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm so aligned, and I know myself. And when you convince yourself of something,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
that just wasn't the
absolutely.
truth.
Yep.
I feel like the universe just spoke to me. I felt like I heard a voice and it was just like, yeah, you gotta change. You gotta change some stuff. You gotta change some
Yeah.
shit. And I was
Yeah.
like, wow, okay. and I like locked in. But I can't tell you what the exact moment was, but I just know I felt it. It's
Yeah.
weird.
No,
And
no,
I've not
it's
been
not weird at all. It's not weird at all. I'm so glad you're talking about this because it's not weird
yeah,
at all. This is
okay.
typically what does happen to people. It's just not talked about enough. And I
No,
think
it's not.
because new age spirituality has taken over again, and this is something we struggle with, I feel like, with social media and stuff,
Yeah.
where it's like they prioritize like the white new age communities
Yeah.
where everything is really about like ascending and leaving the body almost, where it's like that's not spiritual, that's performative spirituality. Don't
Yes,
get me
it is.
wrong, you can have some incredibly intense, insane experiences being out
Mhm.
of body, but you're never fully out of body. Your soul, there's always a fragment of your soul that's there
Yeah.
keeping you anchored and keeping you grounded. But for me, spirituality is about the human experience. It's about the physical world, right? But
Yeah.
not a lot of people do speak about when that shift was because it's hard. It is kind of hard to like pin down because it's almost
Yeah.
like it kind of just like waves and ebbs and flows into your existence. And then suddenly you're like, oh, so it's incredible that you're so mindful of that shift
Yeah.
for yourself.
Hmm.
And I'm hopeful, that that only happened in January because that can really affect too how we show up
Hmm.
in our work, right?
Yeah.
The jobs and things that we say yes to.
Yeah. The intentionality behind it. Yep.
Yeah. So have you started to notice a shift in that front, like be coming into harmony with your body in that way with what you are saying yes or no to?
Yeah, and just questioning like my needs and questioning what it is that I want and being
Mm,
okay to say no to things. It
yeah.
doesn't matter who it is, whether it's like family or friends or whatever. Like
Mm,
I'm okay to be like, this isn't for me. I'm not
mm,
feeling like I need to be in this space. Like I'm okay to be by myself.
yeah.
Like I'm okay to sit with myself right now. It's
Mm-hmm.
definitely changed that because I used to be a people pleaser, so I used to say yes to everything.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
and also not know what it is I actually wanted because I ask everyone else. So it's like when you kind of step out of that, you're like, wow, I really was like not even trusting myself and not
Mm-hmm.
listening. I didn't actually know what that meant to actually listen to myself. When people say
Mm-hmm.
trust yourself,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what do you even mean? That doesn't
Yeah.
make any sense. Like
Yeah.
I'm trusting other people outside of myself. So when you do
Mm-hmm.
that, you just deplete yourself and then you don't give yourself the care that you need, which obviously triggers down into everything because you are with yourself every day of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you are around people. That's what I've learned. I'm around people, but I am like genuinely with me every day of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to be comfortable with that fact and with this vessel and with who I am at the end of the day to be able to wake up and be like, okay, I like me. You know what? I love me.
Yes.
And I'm
Yes.
loving this new person that I'm becoming and being
Mm-hmm.
okay with that and actually meaning it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the shift for me for sure.
Mm-hmm. So, I wonder, Naomi, if part of like because you're saying how things are a little quieter now, I guess, on like the modeling front,
Hmm.
if there's
Oh,
an
oh my gosh, I have something to tell you. Sorry, you just said something,
no,
and I feel like you're gonna ask me, it is why have I said no to certain things and why it's quieter.
well, not necessarily, but go ahead. Like touch on what touch on what you
So
want to say. Because I'm channeling something that I'm like, oh, I feel like so go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
okay, please. Sorry, my ADHD just jumped in there. I'm
No,
so
no, no,
sorry.
no. I
Okay,
just
so I got put forward for a job the other day, right?
mm-hmm.
I don't know what brand it was for. It was like, they didn't give me any details about it, okay? All right, so this is funny. I spoke to my best friend about it and they were like, okay, so it's a job. It was a lot of money and it was going to be in Thailand, I think. A lot of
Oh,
money. We want to see casting. So they went, I was like, oh, this looks interesting. Again, when you listen to your body. Initially,
yes.
I was like, okay, I'm starting to think. So when I start to think, that's anxiety. When I start questioning things
Yeah.
because my intuition is quiet.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay. My best friend, I called her, I was like, babe, this thing, she's like, this is amazing. She's like, what's it about? She's like, okay, so they're trying to, I said, what's it about? They've said it's to soften the view on weight loss. I said, what do you mean? I said, what does that mean? And my best friend was like, what does that mean? I was
Yeah.
like, what is it about? So
Yes.
basically, it was around weight loss and weight loss journeys. And I was like, why are they sending me this? And why am I? And when it comes to like morals and
Mm-hmm.
money, this is the
Mm-hmm.
thing. Work's been so slow
Yes.
with me.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even second guess. Didn't second guess myself, and I was like, something's off here. But I
Mm-hmm.
feel like these are tests because if I was in that older frame of mind, I
Yeah.
would have been like, yeah, do you know what? I can do it. That's fine. It's just an advert. But then
Yes.
my best friend said to me, "What happens? You take the money now. Yeah, cool. You're safe. You got your money. But when it comes out and you have people that follow you and you have integrity, and they question about why you did that, you don't know how the final cut's going to be, and then your whole reputation is, and that's the thing, the morality. Like I'm such a moral person. I love that, but not everyone
Yes.
is like that.
No.
So
No.
I'm glad.
So okay, I want to touch on I want just with the morality and stuff because I right now I feel like I'm seeing it a lot because a lot of the influencers that said yes to going to Coachella and just how harmful festival culture can be. I love a festival. I love me a good festival. I love dancing. I love music. But not enough of us, I feel like, are researching who's running the festival, where's the money going to, who's involved, who are they
Yeah.
hiring? Like we're not getting curious enough, and there's a lot of
Right.
influencers right now that are saying that were speaking one way for a couple years
Hmm.
and now suddenly accepting jobs for the money. These are big brands
Yes.
that are
Hmm.
offering. I can only imagine what these brands are offering to send
Yeah.
them, to go. Like it's just, yeah. So I'm with you with like the morale. Are you a Libra? You have strong Libra placements? No, you're Scorpio,
Absolutely.
aren't you?
I am. I am. My face was like, absolutely not. I'm not a Libra. No. I don't mind Libras,
No,
September
no.
ones
Well,
only, but
I feel like you probably do have some Libra placements in your chart. I'm a Libra rising. I'm a Leo, but Libra rising.
I don't have any Libra in my chart.
No, because Libra is all about
Not
like
one.
justice and balance and like equality and stuff. So
I know I'm a Scorpio sun, Scorpio moon, Scorpio Mars, Cancer
get the
rising,
fuck out of here.
Sag Mercury though, so I'm fiery with how I
Okay.
talk. That's probably what that is. That's that
Yeah.
fire.
Yeah.
Um, Virgo, Venus, Saturn in what I think either Aquarius or Scorpio.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Not the Libra in me.
Wow.
No.
Wow. Well, I can
Yeah.
see with the Scorpio energy. Scorpios are my favorite zodiac signs.
Oh.
Yeah, so I can see that. But anyway, so back to you with this like if it's like a gestation period, like a limerence kind of fate, like where yes, I wouldn't say you're being tested because I don't like people using that kind of term with like spirit will never test us,
Yeah.
source energy would never test us, but they'll definitely work with us to activate our abilities, our gifts, our skills, our connections.
Yep.
And I do feel like that is part of why you are in what feels like you're in a resting phase, right? Like so that you can then whenever the time is right, it's like whenever God aligns things, then it's like you can go into these things with like full conviction, full trust. You know what I mean? Like that's pretty incredible.
Yeah, I do definitely. I definitely think that it's like I'm in a stage. I'm like in a chrysalis kind of energy. I'm just like, oh, I need to
Mm,
like birth. I need to birth
yeah,
this new version of me, and that's why
yeah,
it's so quiet because I feel like something big is coming. I've been saying it for a while, and I've
same.
had to again lean into trusting like source.
Yes.
Like you know what, this period of what feels difficult is like building me. It's
Mhm.
building. I feel like my stamina, my resistance to be able to handle what I'm asking for.
Yes.
Um, and that's taken me a long time. Me accepting things is such a big deal for me. My Scorpio
Mhm.
moon's like, I want that. Like, I want it when I want it, and I can't
Yes.
always. So I've
Yes.
had to learn, nah, you do not have any control.
Yeah.
Like, the only thing you can control is your reaction to things
Mhm.
and as and when they come up, but everything else is outside of your control, you know?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, this is where I am chilling until
Yeah.
it's time for me to do what I need to do again. Yeah.
Mhm. Oh, I think it's amazing. I think it's amazing because it just feel you're right. Things are building, I think, for a lot of people right now too. And I think because the collective energy is pretty messy right now too.
Hmm.
And there's so many like uncertain variables. And I always say too, like when it comes to psychic reading, when I'm looking into pathways, because that's what I'm shown, like pathways of potential. It's like this is aligned, but on the other side, there's still energies that have to line up with that for it
Yeah.
to pull you in. You know what I mean? So I think for a lot of us who maybe are a bit more connected, aware in this aware of the power of manifesting things. It's like we have to go through this incredibly uncomfortable phase because I feel like it's longer than it normally is, this like waiting period,
Yeah.
or I feel
Yeah.
like maybe in past it's been more ups and downs where this
Mhm.
feels very
Very one level. Very
yeah.
just it's just like this. It's been like this for a while.
Yes,
Um,
yes, yes.
so
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
So, okay, getting back to our bodies. What I'm curious, like what you feel some of the maybe misconceptions are when it comes to, because I still have this natural thing to go back to body positivity, even though it's
Mhm,
been taken over.
mhm,
So, coming from the standpoint of like marginalized Black women,
mhm.
what do you think the misconceptions are when it comes to body positivity slash body acceptance?
What do I think the misconceptions are? I just think that anyone that sees anyone who is like what they deem as like unhealthy just by sight apparently means
Mm-hmm.
because apparently you can tell everything about someone just by looking at them, which is
Yes.
outrageous to me. I
Yes.
think the misconception is you're unkept, you're unhealthy, you do not value your body, you do not value yourself. It's all of these again, it's people's perception without them knowing.
Mm-hmm.
Outrageous. And it's like you know nothing about me, you know nothing about my health. You
Mm-hmm.
just look at me and you assume.
Mm-hmm.
That's what a lot of humans do. So I
Yep.
think that is something, especially when it comes to like black women, because we're always fetishized as well. So it's like
Yes.
it kind of all ebbs it kind of flows into that because if you have a certain type of body and it's like, oh, a man likes you, then okay, that's acceptable. But the comments that I see on some people's posts, some like plus size people that come up on my search page and I'll have a look and I'm just like, the comments that are made, I'm just like,
Mm-hmm.
whoa.
Mm-hmm.
I hate saying awful people because I don't know you, but to say something about someone that you do not know online and to be that malicious, that's not goodness. I cannot
No.
stand by that,
Yep.
you know? So
Yep.
it's like a misconception that we're like unkept and we don't care about ourselves.
Yes.
Um, and it's not true because you don't know that about someone. You're making a
No.
wild assumption, and
Mm-hmm.
most of the time you're wrong, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Mm-hmm. It is
So
it's incredibly sad conditioning, brainwashing,
mm,
programming, however you want to word it, that's happened.
mm,
But it for me too, like there's this book I'm very slowly reading. Oh my God. I forget the title, the whole title, but it's the revolution or misconception or something about fat Black bodies. It
mhm,
basically touches on how the beauty standard was defined by men, but a
mhm,
lot of it came from slavery, from colonial slavery, and the way colonizers perceived Black women's bodies
right,
versus the white women, right?
mm,
So a lot of that, and it's crazy to me that the standard was shaped so many fucking years ago and is
yeah,
still carried out in 2026 and is
yeah,
still for men and women I don't think realized how conditioned or programmed they are when it comes to body image. There's an influencer, Alicia, I forget her last name, but she's a fat plus size influencer and her
mhm.
husband is like this fit.
Oh, Alicia McCavill, I follow. We follow each
Yes.
other. She's such a
Yes.
sweet girl.
Isn't
She posted
she?
the other day, and I was
Yes.
made me really sad. She was crying online, and she's like, "I'm so strong about like so many things." But reading these comments, I was like, "You're all awful people." Like, I
Yes.
genuinely mean that. Like, with the most
Yes.
disrespect. Like, the
Yes.
only reason why he's with her is because X, Y, Z. You have no idea why.
No.
And like, that is not the stuff. Her body's bigger. Okay, is that some of her
Mm-hmm.
whole being? Is that her
Mm-hmm.
character? No, it's not. Like, it
Yes.
literally it infuriates me to no
Mm-hmm.
end.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, sorry, I just went off on one.
No, no,
Oh my
no.
God.
Because I like
Oh,
this is the passion that we need because I don't
yeah.
feel like enough people are angry enough. And
No.
like the lack of self-awareness
Mhm.
and the low, it's like low. You can be very smart, but where's your emotional intelligence? Like, where's your emotional intelligence at? And that's where I feel like most of society is lacking,
Yep. Because
right?
people aren't themselves.
Absolutely not. Completely
Nope.
disconnected. I do
Mhm.
feel like that's going to change, and I do feel like it
Yeah.
is changing, but that's why I feel like conversations like this are so important. I'm curious,
Mm.
like, what, how, like, what does freedom in your body, like, what does it mean for you to be like free in your body?
Free in my body. I think just listen to it more, listen to me more,
Yeah.
listening to what it's trying to say to me and
Mm-hmm.
speak to me, like not overexerting myself, like not
Mm-hmm.
doing too much. Like if I need to rest, rest. Like
Yes.
if I want to go out, go out. Like as in if I want to go for a walk, do that. Do you know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like when I'm on my period and I don't want to do something, don't do it. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
It's about giving my body what it needs and stop depriving myself of X, Y, and Z because, oh, that means this thing. It doesn't mean anything because
Mm-hmm.
all we need to do is just listen to ourselves. And I think just listening to myself, I think makes me I'm essentially free by listening to who I am and what my body needs.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, that's so well said. It's true. It's following your own inner wisdom, I feel like, and it's true. Since I've done that in all areas of my life, I feel a lot more free, like coming out of like I'm an unmarried, child-free witch. You know what I mean? And like
same.
that, yeah, and like but that took some time for me to actually feel comfortable and confident in saying that and feel okay if like I'm not in society's norm. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But you're absolutely right. When we actually honor our inner voice, our inner wisdom, it is a lot more of a liberating, I guess,
it is.
experience, you know?
100% yes, because you're in control of yourself. And that's
Yes.
all that you should want to be. There's no need to control anything. Like,
Mhm.
I don't even want to control me. I'm like, well, what do I want to do? But it's like, but listen,
Yes.
I don't even want to try and force anything, myself to do anything.
Hmm.
So, yeah, that's definitely come with practice. And
Hmm.
again, listening to myself.
Patience. Yeah, yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and you
and
said too,
patience.
like with when being on my period too, like honoring that time of rest where again we've been conditioned to like just go through it. You see all the tampon
Yeah,
commercials and stuff, like you can still do this, and you know, like we're meant to
I
just
don't.
yeah.
I
Especially now that
don't.
I'm getting older too, it's even more. I feel like my cycles hit me even more. I'm like, I need sleep for days, you know?
Yeah.
What do you feel like people misunderstand the most about you?
Oh my gosh, that's a good question. I don't know, and I don't care. This is where I'm at. I would have been able to answer that question to
I
you
love that.
before when I
Yeah.
I don't know. That's not my business. That's theirs.
Yes. Yes. I
I don't
love
know and I
that.
don't care.
No, I
Yeah.
love that.
So
Well said.
I'm unsure.
Well
Thank you.
said. So if so, okay, so then if you could go back to your younger self, what would you say
Yeah.
to your younger self? Would it be some of these things?
Okay. If what my younger self, as in what I would think back then.
Yeah, like if you could sit down with younger Naomi
Oh,
and
okay.
yeah.
Of what people would think of me. Oh, you're not intimidating. They're intimidated.
Mm,
Because people used to say that I'm intimidating. And I used to take that as like well, what's wrong with me? Nothing is wrong with you, girl. You're fine. Do you know what I mean?
yes.
Or people would assume that I'm mean, and
Mm,
I'm not because I've got a resting bitch face. But that's okay.
same. Yeah.
Again, someone could be going through something. I don't take it as like my younger self would have been like, oh gosh, what do they, rather than taking stock that maybe I have things on my mind, maybe that's why my face is this way, rather
Mm,
than being like, oh, wonder if that's a bad thing that I have a resting bitch face. How can I change it? I don't want to change it.
mhm.
I'm a lovely person. Like I don't need to be like smiling all the time if I'm not feeling. Again, it's like listen to yourself. If I'm not feeling like smiling or or something, some emotions coming up for me, it's okay for me to sit with that because they will pass.
Mm,
But yeah, I definitely tell my younger self that like again, your sensitivity, being told that you're too sensitive, that you're too much, or oh, what's wrong now, you know?
mm.
Um, I'd say that, but for right now, I don't care. I don't know.
Yes. I love that. That's
Yeah,
beautifully said.
thank
And
you.
how do you feel like people could, I guess, more models or people connected to the beauty industry can continue to like challenge uh designers, shows, like
Stop being stop being scared to say something out of fear of losing it, like a ticket to a show or something, or a fear of, oh, that won't be on their PR list. Okay, you'll survive. Like, have some integrity and say, stand up for what's right. Like, great, you won't be invited somewhere. Okay, but did you die? Like, you could, like, standing up for people and for yourself, and doing the right thing. That's
yeah.
more important. I think using your voice again and just it's like it's integral to like making change. Like closed mouths don't get fed. Like,
Mm-hmm.
but also doing the right thing that
Mm-hmm.
is gonna matter more like down
Mm-hmm.
the line. So I'd say just open your mouth and don't say yes to everything just because you think it's gonna give you a leg up.
Yeah.
Because every action has an equal, was it? What did my best friend say?
Equal
Every action has
reaction.
a equal reaction
Yeah.
or a consequence. So
Mm-hmm.
great, you might have money now, you might be in there now, but brands also forget very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So does society when it comes because of social media. It's shortened
Yes.
everyone's attention span. So you might be in it now and you saying yes now, but you could have helped someone else by speaking up and saying no or not
Mm-hmm.
wearing that brand's thing because they've said some problematic things in the past. Just integrity, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
Just have some integrity.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and it's true. And I again bring kind of circling it back to that Coachella stuff because
Yeah.
my thoughts, seeing all these influencers accept these deals, like I was like, it would be so much more commendable to see someone go on a post and be like, I just said no to Starbucks. Do you know what I mean? I just turned down X amount of dollars because I stand on
Mhm.
business and this isn't, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like to
Yeah.
me, that's so much more. I don't know. It's just like, it's like collectively we've reached this like lack mentality where we feel like the opportunities aren't going to be there for us or the connections
Yeah.
aren't going to be there for us or like it's like we're grasping at it's like it's kind of like giving like desperation,
Yeah.
like a desperate society.
Yeah, it's people choose when they like where their morality lies, I think. So when it comes
Yes.
to like, okay, I can go to Coachella because of whatever, rather than like looking at what this thing means as a whole. Because again, it doesn't matter to them. Some
Mm-hmm.
people are gonna go and I'm gonna have a good time. But it's
Mm-hmm.
like they'll want to get upset about something else. But it's like that doesn't make sense. Where it's like I just feel like everything's a bit skewed. And what
Mm-hmm.
people are okay to say yes to, but then are like quick to be on someone else for not standing up and saying something what they perceive someone else should talk up about.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? I've always
Mm-hmm.
been of the opinion that I might not understand what someone's going through. I might not understand it, but I can stand with you and
Yes.
support you.
Yes.
That's how we change things. So just because a white slim person might not understand what a marginalized or a black person plus size person goes through, you can stand alongside them and be like, you know what? I don't live in your body, but I can stand next to you and support you
Mm-hmm.
while you say these things
Mm-hmm.
because it lets you know that I am here to support you. But oh, I want to
Yes.
understand. That's
Yes.
how we build community. That's how we
Mm-hmm.
change things. And
Mm-hmm.
people are scared to do that. They
Mm-hmm.
don't want to lose their deals. So
Yes. Yeah.
yeah,
Well, and also listen. I don't feel like enough people are actually listening. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? Like
yeah.
listen to what we have to say. Listen to. So like what kind of a I don't know like what message or advice would you like brands to hear at this time? Because I feel like I don't know. I feel like you've probably been because I know you wrote some letters too, like open London
An
Fashion
open letter.
Week. Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
yeah, a while back for Glamour UK, I wrote for them
right.
ages ago, and they're still. I get invited. Bless both of them,
Mm,
Sinead O'Dwyer and Caroline Vito. They are two amazing designers, and they use a bulk of plus size models. Not all, but they use a lot.
hmm.
And excuse me, I'm so grateful that they invite me, and I go every year to London Fashion Week with them. But it's what advice would I give to brands that aren't? I don't think I could give any advice because
Mm,
to be listened to, it takes more than one voice. I know that
yeah.
my voice is very powerful, but I don't know, maybe it takes one person to be brave and say, can we just use someone who's a bit like alternative, who
Yeah, that
doesn't,
because this
who's
is what
not,
I don't understand. I don't
yeah,
understand why it's and even like watch I don't did you watch Tyra Banks the top model
yes, I did.
documentary? To be
Oh my God,
honest, because I grew up watching that,
same.
I didn't realize at the time watching it
Neither
how
did I. I
problematic
thought it
it
was,
was.
I thought it was fantastic because
Right?
I wanted to be a model. So
Me
I was like,
too.
I want to be in the industry. This is fantastic. Like back then, how would we know? You know?
Exactly, exactly. So I do have to say, like, shout out to all like the Gen Zs because they were the
Yeah,
ones that were like rewatching it and then starting to call it out. I don't know if that influenced the documentary or not, but I know there was a lot of talk coming from,
yeah,
especially from TikTok and stuff. So watching the documentary, I was like, holy shit. And then even with some of the plus side, because I remember Whitney, is that the blonde plus size model?
Yeah, she was there.
I think her name
I
was
think season 10, Whitney. I
hmm
think it was her. Yeah.
hmm like
Did
even
she win?
even
Or she was, yeah.
yeah, like hearing her speak and stuff too, because I remember her coming on because that was around the time when I was being told that I wasn't thin enough and that they would have
Right.
put me into the plus size category at like a size 6,
Wow.
which
Okay.
again is just it's insane, right? And
That's
like
crazy.
people like Ashley Graham and people who have come up maybe shifted the industry a little bit or like bent
A
to
little bit.
their will, you know?
But there's only like one. This is the problem.
Yes.
It's like you're
Yes.
only allowed to have one.
Yes.
And it's like, why?
Hmm.
That's what I don't understand. Like
Hmm.
plus size like industries, and they're worth like billions, like
Yes.
millions or
Yeah.
something. What are we doing? There's
Hmm.
so much space to have more
Yes.
than one.
Hmm.
Do you know, one signature model who gets all of the deals?
Hmm.
Like, there's enough for everyone. I've always
Hmm.
been of that opinion.
Hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. And to be honest, it's the same across really anything because I've
Mm,
been interviewed or had conversations with like other psychic mediums and they'll be like, where are all the black psychic mediums? I'm like, we're here. We're just not
mm,
getting platformed enough. We're not being
yeah,
invited to speak at the conferences or and I do feel like a lot of it does have to do because we don't fall under that new age kind of category. A lot of
yeah.
I can't speak for all of us, but personally, my connection is a lot more ancestral. It is a bit more
Mm,
rooted in African spirituality. I'm mixed, so I have my Celtic connection and I have
mm,
my Afro Caribbean connection. But I
mm,
feel like there might be, there's when it comes to voodoo and hoodoo, there's still like this a lot
yeah,
of misconceptions there. So I
right.
don't know if it's a part of that, but it's frustrating across the board that we're still not seeing enough inclusivity, diversity, programs being cut.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I just have to say, like, I know you are resting a little bit more, but your voice is so important, and I do really appreciate like coming
Oh,
across your content and just yeah, being that voice, even if we are screaming into the void.
thank
It
you.
is very encouraging and very inspiring, I think, not just for myself. I know for a lot. So
Oh,
I do
thank
appreciate
you.
you and what you do for our community.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you too.
Is there
Thank you so much.
anything that you want to share with the listeners? Anything you have going on that you want to invite people to vibe with? I know you've started a little podcast project
I have.
yourself.
I have. I started a YouTube channel with my best friend of over 30
Amazing.
years.
Yeah.
And it's called Securish and it's on YouTube. And we have stuck to it. And I'm so proud of us. My best friend's a Libra. So a Libra and a Scorpio
Ah, okay. Yeah,
getting
yeah,
together. To, she used to be avoidant. I was anxious. And we're just diving into how that affects friendships as well, the
yeah.
insecure attachments and how we've broken that and we're becoming securish. So it's in real time.
Yeah.
So please watch.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
if you feel like it helps, please send it on.
Hmm.
Like, subscribe, all that good stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I just came across it yesterday, so I'm really excited to get into it, especially now that you talked about the friendship dynamic because that's really difficult to navigate, you know.
Yes, it is.
I'm a UHD, so and I would say a large majority of my girlfriends are neurotypical,
Yeah,
and I feel like it's shifting for me as I get older where I'm not masking as much,
yeah.
I'm feeling a lot more comfortable to just be myself, take it or leave
Hmm.
it, but I require different things for
Yeah.
me,
And that's
to
okay.
right, yeah, to move through the
Yeah.
world. But it is a little tricky to navigate some of those friendships. So I'm excited
Yes, it is.
to
I
hear what
hope
you
it
guys
helps.
have to say. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Thank you
fun.
so much for sitting with me, Naomi. This was amazing.
Oh, it was a pleasure. I really had a good time. Great chat.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you so much.